There we go. My new setup, wouldn't you know? I need to do something about this. All this sunlight. You would have thought it's not a problem in the UK, but unfortunately it is. Also need to set up my new microphone. I would love to actually. I wish that I had like a mirror behind so you could see my new setup. It is quite the sight to behold. But we have another letter show today, and we have quite the ignored letter, I would say. Doesn't get a lot of press, but maybe we can see why that is. We've got Wastelander with us, also known as Wastrel Wanderer, also known as many others. How are you?
I am well, my friend. How's it going with you today? What is it, around 4 p.m. in your time zone?
Oh God, who even knows? I think you're right. Yeah, it is.
What is time anyway, right?
Exactly. Just a concept.
It's a bit like the mask, right? Concepts are what we make of them. It's how we enact that into reality, right? It's kind of like how they show themselves.
You're goddamn right. How for H? What is the how, the why, and the where?
Now that is the new meta, my friend.
I need to turn you up because I can't hear you very well. I think it's me trying to get used was being helpful, but they weren't. I should have known better, to be honest. What do you think of this little pump that we're having then?
You know, I woke up and I was like, people are going crazy in the H chat. I'm coming through, by the way, right now, right? Like volume is okay, clarity's okay. Dom, can you hear
me? I can hear you somewhat.
Okay.
I think it's fine, to be honest. I think it's just my own problem.
I wish I could see the setup, and I'm glad you can't see mine because yours has got to be orders of magnitude better, right?
You're sounding a lot better. I don't know what happened, but now I can hear you better.
Okay, I see that back end has done that. Yeah, so I woke up, I'm like, my good friend Fireboner, Cult OG is like, okay, what's going on, you guys? I see that Bitcoin and Ethereum are like, there's this huge green dildo on both. I actually haven't checked any since. I have no idea what that is. So really, I would want to know, like, what you think about that. Like, what are the probable causes? And is that like an indicator for what's going to happen over the next X period of time?
So it's just it's the market being a standard max paying market, as in like there is no reason for it. CPI came in by the new measurement, it came in flat, and by the old measurement, it came in higher than expected. So obviously, everybody then shorts, and therefore the market rallies because everybody shorts. So you had, in fact, I sent a message into my work chat and said it came in hot. So inevitably, we will dump on the open, the US stock open. Dump on the open, then rally up and stop out all the bears, and then we'll dump again into the close. And I've been right on two of those so far, but Bitcoin did the same. Went from dumped to 21 like 550, then rallied up like 700 points to 22.3, and then it dumped back down to 21.8, and now it's at like 22.067. There's no reason for it. Literally, the only reason it's rallying is because everybody would have shorted after the CPI came in hot.
Yeah, that's pretty scary right there. Like you can predict that it's going to happen, so then that is like nothing but dangerous. I think like the term right is like speculators market or something like that. You posted a video about that a few days ago, I believe.
There's the most call options traded even more than at the peak of like the meme stock mania. More people were trading options than they were then, which is insane.
That's pretty terrifying, yeah.
Because considering like nobody has any clue what the market actually is right now, but I guess that's why it can be so detached from reality, because just nobody actually understands what's going on. So we'll see. Where are you guys on the leaderboard? I'm conscious that with this new setup, if I type in the leaderboard, I might get blurted with sound, but I'll see if I can load it up and look without that happening.
Last I checked, we're somewhere between 6 and 8. I think we're sitting right at 7, with like a little bit of variation between 7 and 6. Maybe a little bit close to 8 also, which I'm totally good with.
Oh, you're actually higher than I thought, to be honest. 341. You got R, which is losing at 333.64. And who is bottom off that? Is that you? No, your E is on 340.17. E star is on 342.11. So R is out back. Poor old coin theory. But H is at. Did I see? In fact, I'm not sure whether you were. There was a partnership between some letters. It was 3 letters that got into a partnership recently. Were you involved in that?
I don't think so. We had a really early partnership with you, and I believe your letter M. This newer one, tripartite partnership. No, I don't think so. I'll be curious to see where it goes though, like what kind of output it has.
Fair enough.
It's not something that I constructed.
So in terms of your background, do you want to introduce yourself and the letter and a bit about how you landed in crypto?
Yeah, my pleasure. And it's always ironic. Like that question is always easier for me than like, how are you doing today? Because I can like zoom back, right? And it's always easier than describing how one is feeling, I guess. Yeah, so I got into crypto like at some indeterminate time prior to September 1st, 2021. When VEMP initialized on Uniswap, I believe it was. VEMP, back then, the Empire was literally the first project that I ever like sunk my teeth into. I was very much on the outer layer of, the onion space of possible ways of being involved in crypto before that. Then I was like, okay, I really, really like this concept. With the positive feedback loops between the different modes of investment within VEMP across a space which is probably going to rip within the next few months, right? Because the metaverse is like so incredibly hot right now. And then we saw just that, obviously when Facebook rebranded to Meta. So that was really incentivizing. And then the second part, and this ties into like, how on earth did I find myself in cult? But clearly, like, you and the rest of the VEMP team were really motivated from a broad ethos perspective. So, right, it was like a long game in terms of the liquidity being locked for what, like 21 years, I think it was at that point. Right, so it was very, very long kind of tail there.
Only a measly 20 now.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Scammers.
It's got to be a scam, right? Yeah, but it was like you want to actually try to maintain the decentralized ethos that is latent in the possibility of the metaverse, kind of like staying as the metaverse rather than being eaten by corporate powers. So then, when cult rolls around, and I heard about cults within a within a particular Telegram chat. It might have been the VEMP chat. I'm not sure because obviously you were a pre-selected guardian. I was like, well, this really, really speaks to me. They talk a lot about mental health in the manifesto. It's really passionate, but then there's also this latent potential via the really simple and therefore powerful tokenomics, which ensure continuous burns, right? But not just a linear burn, but a compounding burn mechanism. So that was really exciting, right? Because it bridged ethos with the potential to actually do something about that. That was like that was a signal to me that like, okay, we don't actually know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Right. So like the metaphor that you use, right, is it's like all this sort of like dry kindling. All it takes is a spark and then it goes boom.
Gotta love that. That
Absolutely.
served me very, very well, that analogy. Always a winner. I think it's very true. I mean, even it doesn't always have to work. As in like, even Colt sat around and it didn't find its spark until a month or two. Everyone seems to think it started in like end of March, April. But
right.
For the originals, we know better. But yeah, it's just about finding something that has the conditions. I heard that TRG is pumping, as in the core one, but I haven't actually looked to see where we
Right,
are.
over and
Oh, yeah.
above the difference in ETH. Yeah, I haven't looked either, actually. I'm very curious about that.
70 up to 7.8 TRG.
Okay.
So someone's been doing some hefty buys by the looks of it, because yeah, it's up 16.4%, which is a lot higher than Colt's got a nice little pump on it too, above 8, and VEMP is above 17.
Heck yeah.
Is always good. Why dump? Anything that's not a why dump is always good. But apart from why did you join Colt? Why did you join letter H?
So it was an interesting process because it was a relatively easy decision. A lot of cult OGs had yet to declare allegiance, right? You had not, for example, like joined M yet, but I could see, okay, look, this is Mr. Cult Manager here. Bubs is there. I believe Koss of Kostow, right, had joined at that point. So
The legendary
already,
Costello.
yep. Nobody knows if it exists or if it doesn't, but somehow it's trending on Twitter sometimes. I have no idea how that works
That's
out.
the mystery, I guess. That's why it is a legend in its true form.
It's a bit like it's a legend that then kind of like co-creates itself, right? So it's like the positive sort of what do you call it, confirmation bias, as opposed to like the kind of things that we see in
Self-fulfilling
speculative.
prophecy.
Yep. It's the kind that we like to see, right? Yeah, so then I was like, okay, well, that's a lot of latent potential there, because you have somebody with like all the connections in the world, aka Mr. Cultmander. You have sort of like the math prodigy, who's also really good at like conveying ideas. So that's Kostow. And then you have Otto Cryptoshi, right? So Mimetic Master. He's like, or they're literally like generating memes like continuously. And this isn't, and then of course, Bubs, Holly, and a slew of other partners. And these all formed like immediately pretty much. So I was like, okay, that's like so much latent potential there. It's all bubbling beneath the surface. And in a way, right, like Cult or any other system, it's primed to blow. It's just like a matter of when, right? Because all that energy potential is already there.
It's some dry old timber, that.
It absolutely is.
Very dry timber.
And we love to see that, right?
Yeah, I was very impressed to see Woo Blockchain pick it up, because I followed that account for ages. So to see it picked up by that was really positive, and that was even I think that was before it launched, the actual core token anyway. But yeah, you know what's really annoying is people just like, you've got all of these like gaming influencers like Crypto Stack and Alex Becker. Like, if they actually took the time to look at it, they would think, Jesus, this is actually like something new. But it's just, they just ignore it. Like, including like crypto media. One thing I learned when I started VEMP, and I was like trying to, I was sending around like Medium pieces that I wrote, trying to get people to like cover it, and just like none of it, literally nothing is unpaid. Like everything that you see on all of these medias, like every tweet, someone's paid for it. Like every YouTube video, like any YouTube video that's from like a well-known person that isn't like a top 20 coin, unless they are holding like the biggest bag ever, or they have tons of money, like Carl should say already, like it's going to be paid for. Like even Polygon, like still have like YouTubers who like they pay. So it's really quite I actually didn't wear this sweater yesterday. I purposely changed out of my yesterday's sweater. I put it on this morning, and I said to my wife, I said, actually, I've got another podcast, so I'm going to have to get changed. So I've been rugged. by the fact that it is similar, but this one's Adidas. Oh, I get confused. It's like, did you know that weather people, they have to do it backwards, like how it is on like the camera. So whenever they're like doing the weather and it's on their left, they have to do it on the right. It must take some getting used to. But I can't remember where we were before I commented on my sweater being taken.
Well, I also really wish that crypto influencers, whether in gaming or not, like would actually just read stuff, right? Because that's like how you convert from the highest potential coins. Like my favorite, like I say like when reading all the time. I don't care about like when Binance, I'm like when logic, when thinking. It's not that hard, is it? You know?
Unfortunately it is, but
well, yeah,
I
proof's in
mean,
the pudding there.
That's the thing, yeah. I mean, actually, like telling people to read the manifesto or to getting people to read like a medium,
Yep.
or well, even reading anything to understand it is like hard. Like I'm the same, to be honest. Like I will mostly buy tokens from recommendation or like seeing something random. I will never, if somebody recommends me a token, I will not like look into it. Like I won't like dig into it. I won't like look for a YouTube video. I won't look on the Twitter. Like I am like just I guess I'm a FOMO artist. But I just take recommendations from people and I go in. So it actually takes me quite a lot to like do that in-depth research. I guess that's like everyone because our attention spans are just gone.
By the way,
but credit denied.
Hey, question. Is this coming through at all better? I did see in the chat that maybe there was some scratchiness.
Oh no, you've oh yeah, no, I think it's all good. It's just where you're moving about a bit. I agree, Matt. Research is for idiots.
Yeah.
Especially if they're researching the wrong things.
Yeah, it's really hard. I feel the pain in my own way, right? Like you can show people like all the silver spoons in the world, and like unless they actually take the time and the attention and they get out of their daily routines, right? Then they're not gonna see that. They're gonna miss the boat, aren't they?
I've been trying to get out of my daily routine. I've been meaning to start exercising again. It's just not working. I need to get back in shape. I'm on holiday soon, and I'm trying to. Yeah, I mean, it's in like a few days. There's no way I'm going to do it. But speaking of new movements and new things, what has H been doing? Because eStar has the dashboard. M has the bot that's going to be public soon. You know, when utility, any partnerships, products?
It's a good question, and I'm very glad somebody's asking, right? Because what it really points to is like, how on earth are we not in last place when there hasn't been, you know, for all intents and purposes, visibly anything going on in H? And the answer really is it's a bit like, you know, what does Pompeii look like prior to Vesuvius erupting, right? So you never know what's going on beneath the surface until it happens. But a little bit like in trying to, you know, infer the latent variables beneath like whatever is happening, you can look at the indicators from who joined that community first. You know, what can you infer about the kinds of movement that you're going to see, and then what does it actually take to be able to go up to say rank 5 and then rank 4, rank 2, rank 1 over however many iterations of the rug game up until the final 10th competition. And really what that is, you know, as we all know, is the relationship between market cap and then volume, right? So lower the market cap in combination with the right levels of volume, the more points you get, right? And the thing about that is it's almost impossible to predict where a given letter will be like the next day or the next hour. And so what I would say to everybody looking at H is, you don't know what's going to happen until it happens, but you do know the possibility of it because it's that form of the solution which is there,
right? You know that it's going to be there.
It's extremely easy, in fact, because I remember A contacted me and sent me some ETH to send to the bot to wash, and they were honestly like their market cap at the time was like 25k, like and then that was it. They were literally took like 3 or 4 buys and sells, and then that's like, I swear, like at that, in fact, I could do a test right now. What's the smallest market cap? Everyone's going to front run me now, aren't they? Like just buy it just as soon as I look in. But so G is 23.95 and E star is 25.4. Let's do G a favor. Or E is 28. Let's look at G, right? So I'm going to do 1 buy and sell, right? So it's at 340.83. Somebody remember that? 340.83. And where is G? Let's see if here we are. Right, ready for this?
Like RugGame on steroids. I love this.
Here we go. There we go. G. Get that slippage up. Look at that, how reasonable. 258 for a 1% max bag of G.
Yeah, that's madness right there.
Let's see. Because I'm getting a failure on it. It's probably a slippage one. B. 666, 666, 666. Is it 666 million? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, still getting a bloody failure on it. Let's increase. God, no wonder it's last if it's this hard to buy.
Well, a new question, but is it because you already have G in that wallet, maybe, so that you can't actually go beyond that?
No, I did. I don't have G in this one.
It's odd.
I'm wondering if somebody's buying it, and that moves it, because obviously it fails, doesn't it? If you don't, or whether it's because I'm trying to buy it with Tether. Maybe I need to swap it to ETH first. Let's try that. Bloody hell, all this.
This is pretty interesting right here. Yeah, I don't actually have it up on my screen, but I'm interested if there's actually any movement on that chart right now. Try to pull it up actually.
First, I need to get the ETH so that I can buy it, and then by that point, tons of people are anyone watching could have bought and sold it. But let's hope that they can embrace.
What I really appreciate is that you came out with the bot and you kind of like demoed it like very slowly just with M. And I was like, okay, you're creeping up on T's score, right? It took like 3 days to actually flip T, but you didn't have to go that slowly, right? Which demonstrated that like any letter can cross that point chasm pretty easily. Like if they just put in, the ETH for the gas and they're a little bit diligent with it. And of course, you were doing some pretty hefty wash trading there, but at the same time, it's like nobody thought that would happen so quickly, but also you weren't doing it as quickly as you could have.
Yeah, it's at first I was doing it manually because I hadn't finished the bot by this point. So it took me. So I was doing it mostly later at night because the problem was that the gas was low in the morning, but I'm always super busy in the morning, EU time this is, and then by the time it's like midnight, it starts to calm down again. So here we go. So I've just bought it, and now I'm gonna sell it down again, and then we'll see how much. Do you remember? Was it 340.83 before?
I believe so. Yeah. Nice.
There we go. And sold. All right. So I don't think it's live necessarily, but it will pull through at some point. Still on 340.83, but don't let me forget before we break off this. Community is everything. That is true. So you said you got Mr. C, Bubs. Who else you got?
There's Holly, this group called Shibaverse, just like a really, really amazing side of the Shiba Inu ecosystem. Of course, Dom, you know them, you connected with them way back in the days and partnering with the Empire. Loads of other folks, Auto Cryptoshi, people working behind the scenes like Koss and just doing some, kind of like predictive analytics. But it's like, it's always like people can know that something is possible, but yeah, they have to like see it like to happen. It's just like with the point that you made about influencers. You can show them everything, but like until they see it, like they see the big green candle, right? Or like with centralized exchanges. It's this kind of dynamic that is like everywhere. Maybe it's attention span. I don't know what it is, man. You can know that it's going to happen, but until it does happen, I'm not sure why people wait.
That's true. People in fact, who was I saying it to before? I was speaking to somebody this morning about it was about Antara, the game, and they asked if because it's probably going to be on Polygon, the game, and they were saying, why Polygon? Why not other chains? Have you thought about X, Y, Z? And they made the point about like Arbitrum. And I said, the thing is, by the time token launches with Arbitrum, like that season or meta will probably be over. And it's like, I said, Aptos had it really badly because obviously they were like quite heavily in SBF based one. And so when he obviously screwed everything up for everyone, nobody wanted to like be the first onto Aptos. So everybody now, even though Aptos is obviously pumped because it's got like jump trading doing the market making, like of course it's been pumped. But basically because nobody wants to be the first like game on there, like because the project side or because nobody wants to take the first risk. It's the same with VCs because if you are a company that's raising money, the first question and the most important one is who are your other investors? Because nobody wants to spend the time doing the due diligence themselves. And they would much prefer to rely on, for example, if you say, this round is led by Animoca, and you'd think, okay, great. So they've done their due diligence. I don't need to. I just need to know that Animoca have done it. And it's the same with like all of these things. So nobody ever wants to be first. And even though everybody talks about first mover advantage, like nobody wants it because there's also a lot of risk involved at the time. Basically, all of like finance, all of VCs, everyone is just as like, just the same as retail in terms of like FOMOing into tops, like not buying lows and all of that stuff. It just repeats itself, just comes in different forms. In the long term, what is the plan for H to win? Is it community? And if you could steal one person from another community, even though you've got all the chads in already, who would it be? And you can't say me because I know that you're wanting to.
But here is the Valiant prediction. Of course, you would be incredible, but I predicted you would say that. No, I'm just. I was actually thinking Fireboner because, of course, like, your team M. Because the thing about Gavrilo Princip, and I think he's probably in the chat somewhere, is he can go into any community, and right now he's letter U, but you wouldn't know that because he literally like gets everybody excited by footing himself essentially. But the thing is, he's like got so much humor. And so we enjoy that, right? Because humor can be like what makes a community go round, right? Especially like in a bear market. So it's a bit more of like a long-term investment and how people are feeling, So like in the House of H, whatever other community it is, that's what you really want because that's what keeps people around, right? It's an investment in the psychological side of things.
We've got G-Man in here, right? So G-Man has unfortunately, I hate to say it, G-Man, but you've got the wrong idea. make a hodl bot and buy RAG. And that's not what we want to do. We don't want a hodl bot. That's not how you win. In fact, that is the opposite. Nobody take that advice, because if a hodl bot just wouldn't do. You've got to be scoring those points if you want to win. A hodl bot's not going to get you anywhere. And also, he did actually mention, though, what I was trying to think of the acronym for, RAG, the new partnership between RA and I'm not sure which G. I think it's normal one. G-Man is fudding RAG.
You know what I love is that like FUD towards any given letter actually raises the visibility of that letter for everybody else. They're like, okay, now we can show how we respond to that, right? So like there's this parallel between that kind of like psychological dynamic and then like literally like wash trading, right? Because it increases movement in whatever that community is. And that's what really pays dividends, doesn't it?
Speaking of movements, G's score is updated.
Oh snap! Okay, it was faster than I thought actually.
So one buy and sell at 23.25 market cap. How many points do you think? How many trillion or parts of trillion?
Oh God. Let me say somewhere between 1 and 5 trillion.
So it is. So it's gone from 340.8 to 342.13. So it's like 1.3. So like 1.3 trillion. So that would take, that's one buy and sell. So to go from who's the winner? Yeah, G Star's still winning 546. So it needs 200 and so 200 would get it to, it needs 204 trillion to win. I'm going to do some maths here. So
about 153 of those, but you need to be at the same market cap.
So 204 trillion to win. So if it's 1.33 per buy and sell, so let's see what that is. That would be like times up by 160 maybe. 160 gets it to 212. So 1.33, let's times that by 155. That gets to 206. Let's go for 1.33 times by, what did I say there? 1.33 times by 150. That's 199. Okay. Around like 155, but obviously that's a buy and a sell. So that's 300 buys and sells. Okay, so if it's 300 buys and sells at $250 with 4% tax. So that will be okay, 250 divided by 100 times by 4 equals $10. So then $10 times by 300. So $3,000 is how much you have to pay in tax in order to wash trade yourself from bottom to top. So that's just tax. But then you've also got the gas fees on top of that. So for anyone wondering on how much would it cost to raise to the top, that's what I said. That's what I just did. So 3,000, but the gas fees, again, it's not much on a buy, but on a sell it is. So it ranges from from my experience, it's like $40 or $50 on sell, but it's like 10 or less on a buy. So if you did then 60 by 3,000 plus 60 times by 150, be 12,000. So let's divide that by ETH, which is what, 1539. So you're talking 7.8 Ethereum to wash trade yourself to the top. And if you owned like 10% of the supply, you would get at least like 3 Ethereum back from the rewards.
That's the thing, right? That's like the relevant ratio. And then you multiply that across how many people in that community have that max buy, that max bag, and then you can reimburse everybody, like as long as you coordinate it in the right ways. But that's like, we're gonna see if that actually happens. That was a really, really amazing demo, by the way. That's like real education right there. So thank you for that.
Which one? What? The calculations? Oh, the buy and sell live.
Exactly. Simply going through that, but like people don't take the time to do that, really, do they? It's the same thing with reading.
I mean, it will vary, but if it's if 1.33 at 25k, so I guess you can scale that up by doing it as like, so 1.33 and then divide that by 2 would be like 0.6, and then let's say so if you're a 100k market cap, it would be 0.3 trillion basically. So that's the difference, because if you're a 100k market cap compared to 25, you have got to do 1,200 buys and sells to get the same points as somebody who only needs to do 300. Like, so that's a difference of like 8 Ethereum compared to 32 Ethereum.
Yep.
So that's chunky. So you got to
the difference
properly
between survival
have
and
extra volume if you want it to counteract.
Yep.
People don't know. They don't know. I feel like the that meme, me in the corner. They don't know I'm wash trading.
It's the perfect meme for that. Yeah.
You didn't mention who. Or did you mention who you wanted to steal? Oh yeah, it was Fireboner. I've heard his name more. I swear I've never heard his name until this time, and now I've heard it so many times. What are some overrated letters that should be in the rug zone?
Overrated letters. I'm not really sure because I see the variance, like, we basically, like, you just basically like outlined as being so high between no matter like where you are in the point stack to where you could be, that something could look overrated or underrated, and then that could like flip like in like a heartbeat. So it's just like taking that initial risk, but it's not really a risk because it's just math. So I don't know. I mean, I could say A, but that's like purely because I appreciate Artorias and not because I actually think that it's overrated. But yeah, also curious if he's in the chat, honestly.
And if you want to give, well, it's not a want. If you had to, which you do, give an elevator pitch, a 1 minute on why people should join H, what would it be?
I love the notion of a dark horse, right? So this is how your team, maybe it was you alone, I'm not sure, maybe it was Liam, elected to portray H, but like in like a single term. The thing is, the right way to assess a community or like like a token or whatever is like, okay, what is the latent potential there? And it's like, can you infer what's going to happen over the course of 10 rounds of the rug game? And like the only way to like really know what's going to happen is look at the community buy-in, look at the community strength there. That is like your single golden variable that has any kind of like predictive power to it. We're fortunate to have Holly, we're fortunate to have Bubs, we're fortunate to have freaking Costow, the paradox, like the living paradox right there. Mr. Cultmander, everybody knows that guy. So I'm excited for people to be like, okay, we always knew that this is going to happen, but then you see it happening and you're like, well, I should have bloody listened to those guys, from the very start, because the writing was on the wall.
How much ETH have you got for the wash bot? That is the question.
This is the operational question, my friend. And
the operational budget.
Yes, indeed.
You need an operations manager for every individual letter.
Yep.
Where can listeners go to find H?
I would check out our Telegram.
infrastructure? Does it have a website yet? I know a lot of people have come in here with a lot of impressive stuff. Show me what you got.
I would check out the vibes in the Telegram chat. I would look at like how comfortable people are in there. The fact that like people are literally happy to be in there. Like it's like a zero stress zone. If we wanted to, we could make a website. We could build other things out. Really though, it's community. That's the proof in the pudding. That's something which every letter should have.
Good swerve. I appreciate a good swerve.
I knew you would, my friend.
Give you hats off for that. Well, we've all learned about H. We've all learned about exactly how you can do so much, but yet do so little.
That's the thing.
The name of the game.
Just imagine what could be right around the corner.
Exactly. We all are in crypto, so we are all very, very good at imagining a future told and not ever seeing it. We've had this expectation, and so we've all done it before. We can do it again. Blind hope is something that we are very, very good at.
It is.
On that bombshell, time to end the show.
Thank you for the time, Dom. Thank you to the VEMP team. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. Remember to like and subscribe, everyone who is in the comments. But then again, we might even have the filter on that you can only comment if you are already a subscriber. And in that case, anyone who isn't in the comments, like and subscribe. But thanks for joining. I'm not sure who we'll have on next. Who knows? We're keeping it as fast and loose as letter H. We are rebels. I was trying to think of a quick word or something I could thesaurus out, which was what's the word I'm looking for? A simile. Is it a simile? Another word that began with a H.
Exactly.
Hooligan.
I think that's an okay mask. It's what's behind the mask, right? That's always where the proof is.
And it's a pun. But yeah, thanks so much for joining. Thanks to the audience for coming over and saying hello. And we will see you next week.